This is the Jim Norton Show.
Hello. Thank you very much for tuning into the Jim Norton Show, those of you that have decided to. I am a cranky boy today. It's amazing how fast, and this is the type of stuff, there's an old expression, we climb the mountains and trip on the molehills. I've been hearing that for years. And today my dry cleaning came, and this is really white people problems. And the sports jacket they hang with just a fucking wire hanger. Like no padding on it. And it got me so annoyed because it's just shitty customer service. It's just carelessness. So I called to ask about it. And the woman's like, well, that's how we always do it unless you make a special. And I'm just like, ugh, this is why mom and pop businesses go under. You know, I love when the big fucking conglomerates come in and just take over everything. Wow, am I cranky. I had a good week last week. I was not here. I was in L.A., but I did some very sober things and, some good business work things. I think this time last week, I was actually in Ozzy's house shooting a promo video with him and Sharon for this Oz Fiesta that we're doing. So my crankiness is going to go away. It's irrational. You know, like I understand why people throw shit at other people. All right. What would Robbie in California like advice on 12-step programs? I won't mention any by name, but I can give you some general advice if I can. What's up, Robbie?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hi.
Well, I've been in and out of the program for years, and I just don't seem to have success with it. And I was wondering maybe if it's my lack of honesty with the sponsor person, you know, and the fact that I'm like sexual confusion, like in identity, as in like, I don't know, am I bi, am I gay? And I'm never honest with them about that. And I was wondering if that may have an effect. Is my honesty I put into it is the shitty results I get?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Does it matter?
Let me ask you a question. Well, how would your bisexuality affect your alcoholism?
I mean, honesty in the step work.
Well, honesty will affect it. You got to be honest. But I don't know if sexuality has anything to do with it. But if you're not being honest about, any of the stuff that you should be honest about in sobriety, which is, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, I don't think sexuality kind of goes into it, especially in early sobriety. But if you're not being honest with, I would say, the person that's helping you, the sponsor, I think that could be a definite problem as to why you are not getting it. They say that all we have to do is be rigorously honest. And that's a real tough thing to achieve. And I go back and forth with it. The lies become subtler the longer you're sober, like the little lies we tell ourselves. But you got to be honest with the person who's helping you. That person is not a judge. He's not a fucking. You're not talking to Congress. You're talking to a bunch of drunks, and I say that affectionately. You don't have to impress them. You don't have to lie to them. There's no reason to lie to this guy.
I'm apprehensive because I've heard horror stories of sponsors like, spilling people's personal shit. So I'm like,
maybe that will happen. Maybe that will happen. But you have to hear the other 98% of the stories where it doesn't happen. And if you're afraid of that, then A, you need another sponsor, or B, you need to work on your trust, or C, you don't have to discuss your sexuality with your sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
Okay, buddy, be good, because there are certain things. If you're still listening, Robbie, there are certain things where it talks about confessing to another human being or telling another human being all this private shit that we're ashamed of and we've done. But it doesn't have to be a sponsor. It can be, as they said, clergyman. It could be a doctor. So a lot of these things that we get off our chest at least once don't have to be with the sponsor. So there's no pressure. Okay, buddy. Let's see. Eric in Nebraska. Sexual addiction. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hi.
So actually, it was more I want to thank you for kind of helping me to wake up to a few things. In all the years I've been listening to the show, so you guys came on XM, your exploits have kind of helped me to, I guess, find new exploits. But your comment, or your discussion yesterday with Oak and with Florentine about how much money you've spent over the years, really kind of made me wake up to it. I had to look at something, some other finances, and I realized that how much I am spending per month, per year on various sexual deviance or deviancies, and it really was a wake-up call. It really made me do some thinking last night. I just kind of wanted to thank you for your comments about it yesterday.
Well, thank you, man. It's one of those things where, it really helps to keep, it's a list really helps to make things concrete. It's funny, as I'm speaking to you, I just put it down. I wrote in my phone, gratitude list, because that's something I forget to keep, is a list of things that are positive, which helps keep you feeling good. And if you're doing something negative and you see like the results of it in paper in front of you, a lot of times it's harder to lie to yourself, man. So when I did that, it didn't change everything, but it was definitely something to look at and go like, oof, fuck, man. My therapist, that was her advice, and she was absolutely right. So
I don't know that I'm going to change necessarily. Probably cut back.
Sure.
I think dramatically. There's certain aspects of it that I do enjoy. But at the same time, it's just kind of very sobering to look at it and go, wow, I've spent a fortune.
Yeah, because you can definitely see the results, financially. That's a really easy way to, to kind of see what you're doing, because we can always put off the emotional or spiritual or our, interpersonal relationships, all that shit that it ruins for me. But finances are black and white. It's a lot harder for me to lie when there's a tally in front of me. So, good, man. That's good to hear. And it's a smart thing to do. Keep a list too. That definitely helps.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jim.
All right, buddy. Be good. And, let's see, Gerard in Minnesota, 14-year-old daughter getting into cutting. Hey, man. Hello?
Hello, Jimmy.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, happy birthday.
Thank you, mister.
I got a call from the school today about my daughter cutting. It's the first time I've heard about it. It's just, I just kind of wondering, is it, I know from the Big Show we've talked about Robin Williams and different people that started with, so I guess maybe I'm answering my own question.
Well,
something to take seriously.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I did it for years. It's funny. I'm editing my new special, and one of the things I have to do is look at photos that they took, and they took a lot of great shots of me on stage, really clear. And there's one where I'm gesturing, and this is like this afternoon, and I'm looking at it, and on my left arm in the shot, I can see the slices on the wrist. I did those the last time I did it was 85 going into 86, I believe, the night before New Year's Eve. Or was it 86 85 going to 86, I believe. So it's one of those things where for me, it was attention seeking. It was a cry for help in a way, but it was more like I felt cool when I did it. It was like that heavy metal thing, but there was also a lot of self-hatred. And I was punishing the person I really didn't like. So I don't know your daughter, but I would definitely find out what's going on. Is it sexual abuse from someone? Or does she just have low self-esteem? There might be something going on you don't know about.
Well, it's, me and her mother, we divorced 4 years ago. We both got, trying to make pretty happy lives for them. We get along well, and me and the mother do, and everything. And, a 14-year-old girl and her mom, they kind of clash. But, I drive a truck over the road, when after the divorce, I lost everything, and, I had to make a quick buck, so I knew how to do that, to go back over the road. But, she's make comments and stuff. I've been trying to actively get back, trying to go back home, and I get a phone call today, and her mom, come home, I need your help, that's when she sprung it on me.
Well, hold on.
So,
maybe the daughter's just trying to get you guys to do something together. Maybe the divorce really fucked her up a little bit, and maybe she's trying to do something to get you both to focus on her because she feels left out. Again, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know that. I can only go by my own experience and what I did because that's the only experience I have with it. But for me, it was attention seeking. I wanted people to notice. I didn't want it to be a secret. I truly didn't want to kill myself. I wanted to hurt myself, but I didn't want to kill myself, and I wanted people to notice. So it kind of served a couple of purposes.
Yeah, the only reason we found out was I guess another little girl at school had seen it, and told the teacher, and then the teacher told, dean of students, and then it snowballed from there.
Yeah, how long she been doing it?
She said, from what I gathered from her mother, she said the last time was, I don't know, I guess in December. But, it's been cold, so sleeves have been on, and I've not noticed when I've been, been home, so, and neither's her mom.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you do sometimes, and even if you don't want people to know in the moment, there's something satisfying about it when you're in a twisted self-hate moment. But, all you got to do is, I guess she's just got to talk to somebody, because that's definitely not, it could just be a phase, but it's not a phase that you want to just leave unchecked. I mean, again, because as much as I didn't want to die, I just wanted people to notice me, and I was like a fucking emo chick in 1985. You still never know. You can do something. Like, who knows if Robin really meant to hang himself, or if he was doing that thing where you just want to see how far you can go and then stop. He very well, but he didn't leave any kind of note. So it may have just been one thing where he finally got up the whatever it takes to finally go through with it, or he could have just been seeing how it felt and then passed out. Who the fuck knows? We'll never know. So you never want to leave that shit alone. I would definitely suggest, seeing what she has to say about it and getting her to talk to somebody. But that's all I can offer you. I'm not a psychologist.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
I'm just a
love
sweet
you,
boy.
The show,
Thank you very much, buddy. Hi, Sarah in Alabama. What's up?
Hi, Jimmy.
How are you, doll?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good.
Awesome. So I've been in a relationship for 4 years with a great guy. Love him to death. All that great stuff. About a year into our relationship, told me that he wants to bang other bitches and keep me as the bottom bitch or the girlfriend.
Right.
So
he
started
an amazing
doing
fellow.
Well, he's honest. It works. Yeah. We have a great relationship. He sleeps with a bunch of women, but there's this one woman in particular that he sleeps with all the time.
Okay.
Who he's very good friends with. But she's the only one that I don't get along with, so we don't interact. We go by the Anthony Cumia rule, where we don't touch each other's phones. I don't know her. Sorry?
You don't what?
We don't go through each other's phones.
Okay.
So I don't have her number. She doesn't have my number. We don't talk to each other. Last month, beginning of the month, she started texting me all this weird stuff out of the blue. I forwarded it to him, and I was like, hey, I need you to make this stop because it makes me uncomfortable. And he did so. But within the past week, she's gotten very obsessive over him, saying that she's his girlfriend. I'm going to leave. Like me, I'm going to leave. She's going to take over. She's telling me all this stuff that he's telling her, which he totally could be. I have no idea. I don't really
she's
care.
She's actually telling you that stuff?
Yeah, like she's not.
Yeah, she's a fucking asshole. You should definitely. There's a difference between like when you're dirty texting with someone. I've gotten into all kinds of crazy scenarios through text. Things that were only hot because we were texting them, or because part of the fantasy was inappropriateness. And now that she's allowed to fuck this guy, so the high for them may be talking about other things or, moving on without you. But the reality is if she's texting you, then she's meaning it. And you should absolutely put your foot down and say that he should not see her.
Oh, good. Well, that gives me some encouragement.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong to go, I don't want you seeing her.
Yeah, I feel like we have this great system, and all these other girls follow the system. And now she's broken the rules, and I don't like it at all. And I just want to.
Do you fuck other guys?
No, I do other ladies, but he's enough man for me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about it.
I would definitely
really
suggest.
Appreciate you, giving me advice.
I would definitely suggest telling him that you're not too happy with that that situation.
Yeah, and you think it's okay for me to show him what she's saying? Because I don't. I know
why
that.
Why would you protect her fucking privacy when she's fucking your relationship?
Well, I feel like whatever, I know I'm not an idiot. I know he says crap to these girls to get them to sleep with him. I'm sure he said some pretty, off the wall things or been like led them on or whatever. In fact, I know he has in the past, but it just seems to cause trouble. I don't want to be the shit stirrer, so to
You're
speak.
already letting him fuck. Hold on. You're letting him fuck other girls. Now one is inappropriately texting you, and you find out that they're kind of plotting shit. Of course, you should say something to him. Stop being so
Somehow
nice
I
about
feel
it.
like an asshole. Like I feel like the asshole.
Well, that's what you're afraid of. Let's be honest. You're probably afraid that he's going to go, yeah, this is really going on, and you don't want to confirm it. But nothing you're saying makes him sound like an amazing guy. So
Well, that's
far,
true.
nothing you've said makes him sound phenomenal. So, yeah, I think you got every right to say, hey, what the fuck is this? And show him the text and say, if you keep seeing her, I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm going to do that today.
All right, good luck.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, goodbye. Nick in Tucson, have I ever heard or attended Smart Recovery? I have not. What's up, Nick?
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, bud.
Hey, I saw you in Big Five, and I gotta say, dude, you're looking pretty good.
Thank you. What's Big Five?
It's isn't that like that Chris Rock movie?
Oh, Top Five. Sorry. Yeah.
Top Five. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. I thought maybe there's a big documentary they featured me in.
No, I wish. No, but that I don't know. If you're looking like your head was shaved, you're looking lean.
Thank you, buddy.
But yeah. So so first of all, Jim, I'm actually in school to become a psychologist right now. I'm in a PhD program.
Cool.
And you have some skills, by the way, that can't be taught. Like you would make an amazing clinician psychologist, I think.
Thank you. But I'm too judgmental and I'm too impatient. An hour on the radio when I know everyone's listening is a lot different than me in a room with some fucking simp. Believe me, I would be a lot worse one-on-one.
Oh, you have so much compassion and empathy. I think you'd be all right at it. But
Well,
anyway.
thank you.
So so you really like 12-step programs, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, I can only my experience with them has been life-saving, but yes, I do.
And I think a lot of people have that experience with them. But the evidence, there's been a couple kind of high-profile studies that kind of show that they might not be as effective for the kind of the most people. And speaking as someone who's like kind of getting some clinical experience, but like a lot of people like can't be forced into a program and expect it to work. You have to be in the right place, you know?
Sure.
But there's something called Smart Recovery. There's a couple other ones, but they're kind of like so the biggest problem I think with the 12-step programs is abstinence violation effects, which is when like someone who hasn't drank for like 2 years ends up drinking.
Right.
And then they're like, well, shit, I'm off the wagon now. Like, what's the point?
Okay.
Have you ever had that experience of being like kind of like, man, my history has gone to shit now because I messed up? Or
No, I was very lucky. I mean, I got in really young, dude. I saved myself. What would have happened with me is I probably would have just committed suicide in my 20s because I was that mopey douche. But so no, I drank in the rehab and I drank when I got out for another year. But then once I decided to get sober or to try it, I really didn't think I'd stay, and I've been sober ever since. It was actually February 1st was just my anniversary. So I mean, I have not had to go back, although I've seen enough people who have certainly had to change their anniversary.
Huh. Well, it's just something I've never really had to like. I mean, we all got our little personal battles, but I've never kind of considered myself to really have to have an addiction or anything. But it was just something I kind of think about because I'm starting to kind of run into kind of people who in my clinical practice. So do you think it's like a good resource for just kind of support and kind of maybe if you feel like you want to drink, you could go to a meeting instead of having a drink? Or
Well, I found that it's for some reason it just worked. And like, from the stories of people I hear in there who are older than me and who drank a lot longer than me, who tried a lot of other things, for them, they've always said this is the one thing that worked. And for me, something happened where they didn't ask me for anything. They had no rules. They didn't tell me I had to go. They didn't tell me I had to give a fucking dime if I didn't want to. So, even in a stubborn brain like I have always had, it was hard to argue with that logic. And there people said to me, it was basically, if you want what we have, and the other side of that is if you don't do it. Up to you, pal. That's
Right.
the attitude. And that's a very hard thing to argue with. It's a very hard thing to argue when somebody is telling me their experience and they say, relate to what you can. And that's why I try to give my own experience, because I'm not in a position to tell you what to do. So, you can't argue with someone giving their own experience, strength, and hope.
Did you have like a sponsor?
For many years. Yes. For many, many years.
So like the kind of science shows in therapy that, and a lot of people, I wish a lot of the public knew this, but it's all about personal fit, because you can't do therapy unless you have like a good relationship. Like if sometimes you just click. It's kind of like dating, sometimes you walk into a therapist room and you guys just don't get along.
Sure.
And because, they're two people. But I think do you think, like your earlier caller got me thinking about this. So it sounds like he's having difficulty with his sponsor. So I don't know, find a new sponsor, try and find one who you feel comfortable talking about this stuff with. Or...
Maybe, but the difficulty is with him, with his own ability to be honest, because I understand, the person you're talking to, sure, you got to be comfortable. But there's probably, and again, I didn't get into it too much with him, but there's probably other stuff he's not being honest about with that person. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think it's just sexuality, because why would you talk to the guy, if you're going to go to a 12-step meeting of some sort with a person that's not sexually related, why would you talk about possible bisexuality or whatever? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to how you're doing. And if you do talk around it, or you talk in gender neutral terms, I don't think that's going to cause you to go out and relapse. And if that's going to cause you to go out and relapse, there's something else really missing, I think. That's just my take on it. Because there was a lot of sexual stuff I've talked about in later years that I wasn't able to discuss with my sponsor. I was too embarrassed, or my friends. I was too embarrassed. Yeah, I'm not the same guy now that I was in 1988 or 89 before I did comedy. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have the ability to say the things I have now because I cared so much more back then about what people thought. So, I don't think that's why he's relapsing. You got to be honest about the really important stuff, and maybe he's not,
Yeah. And, hey, can I, the Cutter, the guy
Sure.
who was a truck driver?
And his daughter,
who found out his daughter was cutting?
Yes.
So I actually work with kids. That's kind of my population. So kind of 22 and under.
Yay.
Yay. I love it. But, it's, first of all, it's not his fault his daughter's cutting. It's kind of no one's fault. It's kind of there's a lot of media exposure to it now. But it probably means that she's not going to kill herself. It's probably not a suicidal thing.
Right.
But on the other hand, she would be someone who might benefit. She probably has some thinking patterns, some cognitive issues, some ways of thinking about the world that could probably really be beneficial if she were to find the right counselor or therapist and stuff like that. Because, like you said, we all have our own experiences, and that one can the scar is long lasting. So I kind of nip it in the bud now.
Yeah, I agree.
And but again, you can't you can't force her into therapy. But even if you can make her go, but it probably wouldn't be beneficial. But if you were to find that right therapist, things might really be good for her, and she probably wouldn't mean years and years of therapy. It'd probably be 10 sessions and she'd be done. So,
thank you very much, buddy. I hope he's listening. Thanks for the call, Nick. I appreciate you talking. All right.
Speak to you. That's awesome. All right.
Hey, bye. Be good, buddy. Matt in New York. Any advice on a backup plan for a beginning comic? What's up, Matt?
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I don't know. I've been an avid comedy fan for about 5 years. I bought all of your specials. I bought all Louis C.K. specials. Bill Burr. You get the point.
Yeah.
So I tried. I don't know. I'm been 3 months sober, so I decided to try stand up, and I went on, and I don't know. I didn't expect it to go amazing, but I don't know. I went on, and I did terrible. I didn't feel like it was that bad. Right afterwards, I was like, oh, okay, I did it, whatever. But, I keep getting little, douche chills, throughout my day where I'm like, oh, my God, I tried to sound like Jim Norton. Damn it, I tried to sound like Louis C.K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're brand new, dude. Don't worry about it. When you'll find yourself on stage. It's always better to be original, but the good thing is this. you're getting douche chills thinking about that. So automatically your mind is going, well, I got to be myself. I can't be Louis or Jim or Bill Burr. You got to be you. So the fact that you make these mistakes early in the beginning is fine. The important thing is that you're recognizing them, because you're going to fuck up one way or the other. You're going to sound like Louis, or you're going to do a joke that you heard Carlin do, or you're going to fucking be too dirty, or you're going to be too preachy in between punchlines. You're going to see the audience shift. You're going to fuck up, but we all do it. So it's okay to fuck up. Just kind of learn from it, and you should be getting those feelings. So the positive thing is you're getting some douche chills because you did something that you felt wasn't you. That's a great sign.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, like, my first act was me talking about my dick for like 20 minutes, or not 20 minutes, for like, whatever, it was like 6 minutes or something like that.
That's everyone's first act. Believe me, the cock is the beginning of all humor for most men. It's okay.
Like personifying it? Did you do that in the beginning?
I mean, I did everything about the dick you could possibly do on stage. My fucking dumb high energy, I stunk to high heaven. But yeah, those mistakes you make in the beginning, dude, any jokes you do now, you're not going to be doing 5 years from now. So just realize that this is going to the gym. It just happens to be there's a room full of people watching you. But that's all it is you're learning and you're going to get better. Tape your sets, though, and listen to them. Really, really important to do that, because then you'll pick up like, oh, fuck, I sound like Louis Black. I don't want to sound like Louis Black.
Right. Now, as far as like the backup plan goes, like I'm in school right now for music, and I love comedy, man. I don't know. I really want to do it. I don't think I'm like I'm not like on your level or like Louis' level, but like I'm in school right now because I love music too, and I don't know. That's like music's my backup plan, but like I don't know. Like my real goal is to be a comic, you know. But I can't just. I don't know. Like I mean, I can, I guess, but I have to be like homeless because I'm in like $130,000 in debt. If I leave school in 6 months, I have to pay that all back. So I don't know. I'm just kind of in like a little pickle. Like I don't know like what to choose, you know.
Well, we all have to determine what we need to do to make a living, and fit comedy into that at first. So I would suggest, keep the job you got or whatever you got to do to make money. But backup plans. I started comedy when I was 21, and I still lived at home, so I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't graduate high school. But again, you're not in a position to do that right now because, you probably don't live at home with your parents. So do what you got to do, make money, and just go out and do gigs, And if you want to do music, do both. Gives you twice a faster shot at making it.
Right. No, that's great advice, man. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. And good luck. Don't give up too quick.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good
one. Jerry in Boston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jimmy. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Yeah, no, I'm calling in. I find myself attracted to the old tranny type every once in a while, and something relatively new to me, but wanted to get your thoughts. Obviously, you've spoken a lot about the topic, and, frankly, wanted to figure out, kind of where that's stemming from, if you figure that out, and, kind of how to deal with it, because it's something that's not necessarily talked about freely out there.
I don't know if any attraction stems from anything. Maybe it does. Like, I've heard of foot fetish guys who I've talked about this on the show before, so forgive the redundancy. Foot fetish guys that like to see a girl's shoe dangling. And that's very obvious that goes back to school teacher shit. Or mommy, you sit there and look at the teacher under her desk and you're getting a naughty thrill. So that could be it. Transsexuals could be. Do you watch a lot of porn? Have you watched a lot of porn your whole life or jerked off to a lot of magazines and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
So what happens is transsexuals could just be something different. Like, we grow up looking at women, and maybe you've looked at men or don't want to look at men, and then transsexuals feel like, wow, that's kind of a weird mix of sexualities. That's different. And then you start looking at it, all of a sudden you realize, like, wow, I like it. I don't know if it stems from anything in particular. I wish I had a better answer for that. I just don't know. But, I would say just enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Cool. I do. Perfect.
All right. Have fun.
Thanks, Jim.
Sam in Michigan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, I have a couple quick questions for you. Just recently divorced, and my ex-wife had some health problems. We kind of split up because of that, some intimacy issues.
Okay.
And now I'm with a younger, more prettier lady, and she has the same name as my ex-wife.
Right.
And I'm
two women named cunt.
The second one's better, trust me.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering, how do I go about? Do I kind of, with my family? I don't want my family thinking she's a homewrecker. I met her just a couple weeks after, a couple weeks before I left my wife. I called you a couple weeks ago about the escort question, and you gave me some really good advice on that. And but I don't want people thinking she's the homewrecker of everything. This was totally my decision. Do I make up a couple fake girlfriends to throw out there to my friends and family, then bring her out, or do we keep it all hush hush for a year? I have a couple of small kids. I have like a 13-year-old daughter and a 11-year-old son too, so it's kind of playing it safe with them too. So,
well, if you want to keep it from your kids, that's one thing. And I guess you guys have the option what to tell people, but I don't see any reason to lie because she's not a homewrecker, or, I don't know why you need to worry about what the friends and family are going to think. Like, I don't think it's one of those things. You're a grown up. You don't have to live your life for them. Again, the kids are something I'm imagining different, but fuck them what the friends think. What, you got a younger, better looking girl and things didn't work out with your wife, and tough shit if they don't like it.
Yeah.
Because there's no need to make up girlfriends.
Yeah.
Why would you have to do that? You don't have to lie to make them happy.
I shouldn't have to, no.
No, not at all. Just make up a few boyfriends. That's what you do. Say that you were dating men for a little while and she rescued you from a life of truck stops and homosexuality.
Well, my daughter's kind of hinted on that. I've been, she said, Dad, well, how come you haven't got a girlfriend yet? I don't know if she was just feeling me out to see what was going on or not. I said, I just don't need that right now. But just figured I'd get your take. You gave me some really good advice last week. Talked to my friend. I let her listen to our podcast, and we came up with a good conclusion, and I appreciate it.
Okay, Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, and good luck, you silly goose.
Hey, I appreciate it.
All right. Brian in Hartford, how do you find a place to start stand-up?
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, you got way quieter when I switched over.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask I play music as well, like the other guy.
Okay.
And I had and I used to tell like just a couple of quick jokes or stories just like before going into another song and whatever when I play out. And then there just happened to be a host for one of the nights that did stand up, and it's kind of like just like a coffee house place. And he says, well, I'm doing a stand up gig. Why don't you try it? And I figured he'd give me like 10 minutes, and he ended up giving me like a half hour.
Jesus Christ.
So he threw me a little bit under the bus, but I pretty much embellished on previous stories that I had told, like they were kind of throwaway jokes.
Sure.
And it went okay. There were some things that just tanked, but with your first time being a half an hour, I kind of expected to at some points. But I wanted to see, I also felt like the crowd was a little bit more lenient with me because a lot of them knew me from playing music, and I kind of wanted to throw my feet into the fire with, open mics where nobody knew me. And I wanted to see if this is something I could do or actually try, because I absolutely love the stuff.
There will be enough of those, believe me. I've seen John Mayer go on at the Comedy Cellar, and I've seen him get laughs, and I've also seen him not get laughs. So it doesn't matter if they know you. Eventually they don't give a fuck, and if it's not a good line, they're not going to laugh. So I've seen John do great, and I've seen him not get laughs, which I actually respect the fact that he was willing to go up there and do material and, and be willing to fucking stand there like a comic and just take it in the face when it wasn't going well. So, you'll find plenty of those. There's websites to go to. I honestly don't know any of them because I haven't had to do that in so many years. But, for new talent and open mic nights, you can find that shit online. Just go online and Google looking for new talent nights. And I got to get the name of the website that allows people to find open mics because I just don't know what it is, but that's what I would refer people to. But you'll find plenty of places to do that. They don't know who you are. Don't forget the advantage you had to them knowing you lost in having to do 30 minutes. So that's a pretty honest set. That's a long time to have to do.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Could I ask one little quick thing?
Sure.
The only places that I found online that do allow like stand-up comedy, they like also have like people that come up and do slam poetry and then music acts and all that. Would you still? Is that something that you would have done still starting out, or would you look?
Of course, absolutely, man. Yeah. It's slam. Why not? It's a gig. It's stand up. Okay. It's like all those guys. Like when Pryor used to do comedy, he would do it in strip clubs. They would have variety acts. When Woody Allen started in The Village, man, they had all these crazy variety acts. You'd have like a lady playing ukulele and then Woody Allen. So yeah, man, try it. It doesn't matter what else is on.
All right, man. Thanks, Jim. I love your show, and honestly, I wish it was 2 hours long.
Thank you very much. Good luck, buddy. Let's see here. Mark in Virginia. Interesting dilemma. You're attracted to transgender porn. A lot of tranny calls. I get the transsexual calls. So people that get sick of hearing it, I apologize, but I am the guy they ask these questions of. What's up, Mark?
Of course you are.
Hi, buddy.
Okay, two things. Like, my favorite thing is wet pussy. Okay? I really don't like dick.
Okay.
But I find, well, first of all, before I go any further, you put Dr. Phil and all these guys to shame. You're so good. You're really good.
Well,
I have to tell you that. Anyway,
Dr. Phil makes a lot more money than I do. See, I like to put a little humor in. All right, go ahead, buddy. What's up?
Anyway, so I don't know. I just thought you kind of legitimized, for me at least, that it wasn't that sick of a thing. I don't feel guilty about it. It's like I really would like no one to find out.
Sure.
That I beat off to tranny porn. But other than that, it's just like it's still, I don't think it's I don't really feel guilty, but I do feel weird. Do you follow me? Like, oh, shit.
Yes. Like, for instance, many years ago, when I was a kid, if I was jerking off, if I was thinking about something that wasn't traditional or was embarrassing, I wouldn't let myself come thinking about it. I would get close, and then as I was coming, I would just throw this fake image of me having normal missionary sex on my face, like into my mind, so I could come with technically that in my mind. Like, it was this way of fooling myself into thinking I wasn't, abnormal or weird. But it didn't mean anything. It was just my way of tricking myself. It was stupid. There is nothing wrong with it. And it's like, yeah, we're all a little embarrassed about certain things we jerk off to. I mean, it doesn't mean whether it's regular porn or gay porn or transgender porn. It could be just you watching regular bondage porn and you're embarrassed by it. Or how many women like gangbang porn, where they like, white girls that like watching black guys fuck white girls. And they get embarrassed. They would never want their husband. One of the sexiest things ever was I used to know this girl who was into interracial porn. And she liked watching black guys fuck white women. And the fact that she was married and, I didn't even live near her. We would just talk. But the fact that her husband didn't know she was craving this, and she was telling me, and she was playing with herself watching these thugs fuck white girls, turned me on so much because it was just something that was different. But for her, she felt like embarrassed about it or disloyal. So, I understand what you say. I'm babbling. I apologize.
No, you're not babbling. I mean, it's the truth. The truth is, I think that your discussion of it, which draws a lot of people to the phone, even on the, on Opie's show, it's liberating.
Yeah, and people get sick of it. I've gotten criticized for it. They're like, what are you just talking about trans? But it's like, look, if it's something that just comes up, what am I going to do? Not talk about it? And one thing people have to realize is it's not just me trying to be shocking, because it's the reality is in our culture right now. It's one of those things that kind of a lot of people are talking about, like with Laverne Cox and all these, these people starting to, get recognition as actors or actresses or whatever. Look what's happening with Bruce Jenner. The whole fucking country is looking now at Bruce Jenner going through transition. There's all these big, court cases. Will the insurance pay for it? Will it not pay for it? So people are talking about this a lot, and it's popular on Twitter, whether it's getting people in trouble for saying the word tranny or for people discuss whatever it is. So it's one of those things that's kind of in the forefront of our culture now. So that's why a lot more people I think are thinking about it.
By the way, Bruce Jenner is not one of my fantasies.
Yeah, no, I don't think under any circumstances I could whack off to Bruce. Maybe I'm the Wheaties box just out of respect for the medals for the country. But yeah, Bruce Jenner is not my. Although I bet you Bruce Jenner loved Transparent, which I keep saying I'm going to watch. The Jeffrey, you know, a part of it I love, the Jeffrey Tambor show. Do you know the show I mean?
Yeah, the Transparent.
Where he's becoming wants to become a woman or whatever.
Right.
And there's a really sad part about it, because he's not like this hot, one that, he's very obviously male going to female, and it's, apparent to everybody. And there's one scene where he's with his daughters and he's dressing and they just start to accept him, and he goes into the ladies' room with them, and some woman's in there with her kids, and she's like, "You don't belong in here. You're a man." And all these other people start looking, and he's just so humiliated. And, I get why the mother with her kids, who doesn't understand what this is, would say, of course, to her, it's just a guy in a dress. It's not like, hey, this is a real person going through a real transition in their life. You know, to her with 2 children, this is just a man in a dress being a pervert. You know, she doesn't fucking know. So, you know, and I felt so bad watching this thing. It's like one of those things that you never think of when we talk about it. Like, you never think about these day-to-day fucking humiliations or weird shit. But again, you know, trans people got to be pretty open to the discussion and to the questions, because how do you tell that mom, hey, this is not a perverted guy in a dress. This is actually a legitimate thing. You know, they have to be very open to people questioning and asking until the country kind of gets used to it, you know?
Gotcha.
All right.
Good job. Great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, pal. Be good. Let's see here. Armando in Arizona. My take on your relationship of 13 years. She treats you and the kids differently depending on who it is? Hello?
Yeah.
Hey,
you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Hey, Jim. What's up, man? Big fan.
Thank you.
Just thought I'd pick your brain, man. You seem to have a lot of experience with different types of women. I've been with my wife 10 years total, married 5. I helped her raise her 3 kids from 9 to 18 now. It seems like, first of all, she has a chronic pain condition that really has complicated a lot of things, medications and all that, struggling with dependency and all that. Mm-hmm. Just sometimes, man, it just seems like she can be just a dick and, almost just a mean person. A lot of times it comes out with certain kids of ours, whereas we have a couple of other kids that get treated, completely different, completely opposite.
How old is she?
She just turned 40.
So that's not menopause yet, no?
No, well, she's been struggling with fibromyalgia for about 6-7 years now.
Is she lazy?
You know what? If she gets into a very, heavy spell of pain, she works full time.
Okay.
She does work full time. She struggles with it. I can tell that she would, if she had her, if everything was perfect for her, she wouldn't have to. I know I pressure her a lot to keep moving, keep working.
Sure.
A lot of positives in the relationship, but it's just been so much water under the bridge, man. And sometimes I struggle. I just want to take off, man, and I know it's gonna, just completely just wreck the entire household. It's a lot of layers to it, Jim. I got in-laws that live in our house,
sure.
Elderly caretaker things that are in our house. We just constantly have had a full house, never a house to ourselves per se.
Well, do you think that's what's driving her nuts after all these years? Maybe she's just at her fucking breaking point.
Well, it's been, it was her choice. When we got together, we dated for a while. We moved in. Finally, we moved into a house. And me, being, love struck or whatever, agreed that we would take her elderly grandparents in with us. We bought a bigger house in order to accommodate that.
Sure.
And they've been, her grandfather passed away 2 years ago, and her grandmother, she's about 86, and all the health problems. She's not a good 86.
Right.
And on top of that, when I say grandparents, her father, biological, was locked up most of his life. But, lo and behold, now guess who lives with us taking care of grandma?
Right.
And it just puts a lot of complications. And to top it off, there's certain times you just cannot talk to her, man, at all. Immature, selfish, self-centered, every way you look at it.
Wow.
Never get a moment. If I ever get a moment to speak, seriously, sit down. Hey, look, this is what's going on, man. You got to realize, and as soon as any kind of criticism, it becomes a verbal attack, and she gets defensive. Man.
Yeah, she sounds like especially with the fibromyalgia, she sounds like, again, I don't know her, but she sounds like a real victim, a perpetual victim, and woe is me. And then maybe a bit of a narcissist, someone who can't take that kind of criticism, or if you want to discuss something and they're automatically like, I don't do that, maybe that's the problem. That's real hard to deal with, man. I don't know what this.
We've been to two types of counselors, religious and secular. And as soon as it all comes up, where all of a sudden the counselor says, "Hey, you're not doing something right," and it points to her, all of a sudden the appointments stop. And she does make the appointments. I know I could probably keep them going, but I have a busy work day. I have 16 hours a day. So I rely on her to make those appointments. And as soon as it seems like, you know, the counselor is not agreeing with her, we don't have no more appointments.
Right, yeah, she's just looking for someone to co-sign her shit. But I think that's my opinion, is that, you know, she's probably just very, very self-centered. I don't know how you deal with that. I mean, my advice would be, because I know you just can't leave. You know, you're kind of stuck there.
This, I tell close friends, man, if I left, I'm leaving my kids with this, you know, 24/7. On top of the family, the whole family's victims, you know, victim mentality. So I don't want my kids to be raised in that environment. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just like, man, I'm sticking around until they get old enough and understand how they need to be. And then. Right.
Because you're a nice guy and you don't want to leave them in that situation.
Yeah, I just thought, you know, you've been around quite a few different types. Maybe you've seen them like that before, but that's something.
Oh boy, have I! Of course, I have seen many narcissists like that, and many people who are just lazy and perpetual victims. But as far as dealing with them is concerned, you just have to adjust and realize that's who this person is. That's the only thing I can suggest, because my advice would, of course, be just leave. But you know, you can't. You know, but just see if you can get as much space as you can, because that's just irritating and frustrating. And no matter what you do, it's probably not enough.
Yeah, man, it seems like that. How do you feel? What's your stance on maybe taking a break here and there? You know, because that's something I haven't done, but I mean, you know, I'm a pretty outgoing guy.
Why not say that you kind of want to take a break? I mean, say, look, this is not working for me. Why not say maybe we could take a little break and then see how she reacts to that? That's a pretty good idea.
Well, in our worst times when that's come up and I say, you know what, I'm done, it just devolves into I'll do anything. But I mean, just like take a break, you know, quietly.
Yeah, well, why don't you say, too, no matter what she does, don't argue with her. Like if she's getting into that when you're saying let's take a break, don't get mad at her. Don't feed into any argument. Just go, no, I just want to. I just feel that every time this is what happens. And, hey, it's no judgment on you. I just want to take a little bit of a break and then see how. Because she's obviously doesn't want to lose you. So, yeah, maybe try that. You answered your own question.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, I appreciate it, man. Just thought I'd pick your brain, man. I appreciate it. Love the show.
Thank you, buddy. Good luck to you.
All right, man.
All right. What's up, Beth in Alabama?
Hey, I want to know what you think about people watching this ISIS video, the pilot from Jordan. Is it a morbid curiosity? Why is it that people are watching it and passing it around?
You know, it's funny. We talked about this, Opie and I, this morning, and I watched it. And why did you
watch it?
Well, you're panicking, miss. The answer is I'm not 100% sure. Part of it is morbid curiosity. Let me ask you a question. When you're driving by a car accident, you do slow down to look. We all do. We get annoyed at everybody else looking, but then we look. Now, I know part of it is the car accident's right in front of you. You don't have to seek that out. I got the difference, but meaning there is that part. And I psychologically can't give you a tremendous educated answer, but there is something about it. I've always found when I'm watching these things, I feel tremendous empathy for the person that is suffering. Mm-hmm. Like much more than I would if I just read it in the paper. I'm feeling tremendously bad for them and tremendous sympathy or empathy, however you want to, whatever the word is.
I mean, I was grossed out just at the thought of the video. How do you watch it and not just shut your eyes?
Well, I've seen enough of them. I mean, there was a couple I've seen that made me physically ill, like where I felt like I was going to vomit. But unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with. Like that's what's happening. Like it sucks to watch it, but that guy lived it and died it. Like imagine if that was your life. Oh my God, I got 1 minute left. Holy shit! I apologize. I wish I had a better answer for you, sweetheart. I just don't know.
Do you think that people are obligated to watch it? Like, we should be informed?
No, I mean, it's easy for me to go, yeah, but a lot of people feel just as much empathy as I do and just as much sympathy, and they don't watch it. So no, I don't feel anybody's obligated to watch it. Maybe it's more respectful to not watch it. Maybe by watching it, I'm somehow giving ISIS what they want, and you're making the better decision by not watching it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have a better answer for that. I've watched a lot less of them because I don't want it to feed some sick addictive shit in my head. So I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you. I wish I knew the answer to that.
You're great. You gave me a great answer. And just FYI, my boyfriend has a foot fetish, and we always get a kick out of listening to your show.
Well, how big are your feet?
How big?
Yeah.
A size 6.
Oh, that's a nice size. I prefer larger feet. Thank you very much.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Goodbye, Beth. Real quick, let's go to Bill in D.C. Been using prostitutes, but you got herpes and you want to move forward and tell your relationships. What's up, Bill? I have like a minute. I apologize for making you wait.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if we can do this in a minute. How you doing, Jimmy?
Good.
But, yeah, so I was using them for, I don't know, the past 10 or 15 years, getting tested regularly, and I was mostly going to porn stars because I figured, they're getting tested regularly. So nothing came up on a test until one day when I got a little red sore on my nutsack there.
Oh, no.
And, so I got it tested, and that's what it was. And the problem is, even when you're using a bag, it's not necessarily going to protect you from that.
And you don't even know which porn star. Don't name her. We don't do not.
I would have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I would have no idea, but it could have been one of many. And now I've been a good boy and haven't been back out there since. But that's a hell of a habit to give up. Although it saved me a hell of a lot of money, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's ruined. I started to date a girl, and then told her, and obviously that.
You told her before sex, right? You didn't fuck her.
I wish I could say I did. The way it happened, though, is she jumped me. Like, I really wasn't expecting. She just fucking jumped me. I still had my pants on and everything. Just pulled my cock out of my pants and put a bag on it, and the whole thing was over in 5 minutes. But the next time I saw her, I told her, and she was kind of cool with it, and we did it a few more times since. But then she got cold feet, and she's backed off altogether.
That's, the way you look at it, I do. They're giving me the rap sign. I apologize because this is a big one. I don't want to rush you. My suggestion would be this. You didn't do it right that time, but you did tell her after. I would suggest in the future you tell people before you put your dick in them, and you realize that there are going to be prices you pay for your addiction. Like, I've said this phrase a million times in the last 2 weeks. It keeps coming up, the cost of doing business. Like, I have written articles on, this is an article I wrote for Time about paying for sex. Everyone can Google and see that. I've lost a lot of relationships because of all the shit that I've said on stage, the lies I've told about having diseases people have believed, the fucking things about pay. Everything I've done has cost me a lot of my relationships. So you have to realize in a way that you've banged a lot of girls. And, now you're still going to be able to bang a lot of girls because a lot of girls will still date you because you can keep that under control. But anytime someone backs off, you just go, hey, you know what? I lived the way I wanted to live for a long time, and there are times it's going to cost me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right?
I'm sorry you're out of time. I'd love to talk to you more about it, but glad you squeezed me in, buddy.
I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you, Bill.
Buddy, thank you.
All right, be well. All right, and take care, everybody else. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people online. I did not realize I was going this long. So again, Lou, I'm sorry if I went over, and I'll see you guys next week.